the Quantum Leap Human Design. And so I'm going to teach on upgrading your executive function through self-programming. But I'll start with a story. I'll start with the story that happened over this weekend that really showcases why it's so important, the things I teach in my school, why it's extremely powerful. Okay. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to give you tips. At least I have 6 lessons here that I'm going to share with you on how to upgrade your executive functioning skills with self-programming. And so stay tuned. So let me go ahead and start. Greetings, everyone. Welcome from around the world. So this case study, I want to make it more interactive. This case study is really about how we are designed and how we interface with the world. Okay. So over the weekend, very early in the morning, I went quickly to a Walmart store in the morning, very early in the morning. I wanted to make breakfast, and it's this early morning breakfast where it's like, you know what? I'm gonna go in quickly, grab a few things, and come back home. Yeah, I'm kind of like that. So I went to the Walmart near me, and just to give you more background, I actually used to work at Walmart, so I understand the system at the headquarters. I understand it's more than an average person. I was part of establishing a lot of back end solutions. I participated in strategy, designing multi-year strategy, $250 million strategy for the world's largest retailer, right? Walmart, Fortune One. And I have a very positive, more than an average person, I have a very positive relationship with Walmart, right? This is why this case study is quite fascinating, that I'm going to dive deeper. I'm going to teach on. So this is a company. This is a company I have positive experience with, positive relationship with. I also know the systems, back end solution, supply chain, where point of sale, back in and out. I know it. I know what the system is. I know what it does. You understand? I also have personal relationships with the leaders, right? The CEO, right? Is a friend, former mentor. So this is up and up positive. But just to highlight the importance of self-programming. So I went in quickly, and then I came out, and I'm running through the self-checkout. It's early in the morning, and I'm like, oh, who wants to do all this stuff, right? So I'm kind of like moving in a very interesting way by the self-checkout. And I knew, right, instinctively, I knew this system will flag my movement, right? Because it's early in the morning, I'm just in and out, I'm moving quickly. I just want to be done. I want to go and make breakfast. So within myself, because I knew the system, I perceived it's going to flag. But here's the key. I think several things have changed since I was last, right? Many years ago, when I used to work for Walmart. Many things, the world is not the same. So the programming, it's changed. So as I was doing my own self-checkout, I knew it was going to flag. So yeah, I'm expecting, if it flags, fine. If it doesn't flag. So as I'm putting my things in the bag, someone came. The system flagged them to come, like, what's up, right? That's fine. But here's the key. Here's the key. The human to human interaction is the one that you can't code for. You can program that the system, okay, if it sees funky movements because there are camera sensors, if it feels like people are not going through the normal sequence of this scan, bag, right? The system reads movement. Well, the system works, it flags somebody. Here's the key: the side of training humans on human to human interaction, right? That's the one you cannot code for. That is self programming, that is training of his staff. It's also my own training, right, of how I would respond. Now I'm running, I'm rushing, I'm in a hurry. Here's somebody now standing in front of me. His posture First of all, the posture was like, move, right? Like he was in my way because now he's doing his job. Whatever, whoever trained him, they need to train people on body posture, right? But here is he. First of all, I'm like, what are you doing standing in front of my cart? Then he said, well, I need to count that there are 8 items. I'm like, okay. Then the guy reached into my shopping cart, trying to touch my plastic bag that I packed. In my mind, I'm like, whoa, obviously. So here's where human design comes in. You have a cocktail of emotions, right? I always teach like your physics, chemistry, biology, okay, is governed by your spirituality. Okay. So you have energetics, the energetic side of you, right? That responds to life, action, that powers your body. And in order to respond to life, it will make a cocktail of, right, your endocrine system. If your threat response is activated, your endocrine system will get to work and mix all those stories and all those pre-programming and then release it to your cellular nature and say, take this action. This is where executive function comes in. Your ability to intercept nature, right? Human nature or stories, or right, all of those stories. Your ability to step in, first of all, to regulate yourself, control yourself, and then executive function is observing your environment and taking control of your environment. So when the guy obviously is crossing the boundary now, is reaching into my shopping cart, the side of me that was going to calm the situation was like, back off. Like, I took charge. Like, no, you're not. Oh, no, you're not going to touch my shop. No, no, no. I just packed my. Oh, no, you're not going to do that. I didn't talk like that. This is kind of like a real life scenario. I'm just painting a picture of why this training is important. So in my mind, obviously, first of all, the cocktail inside me, I'm like, cool down. The guy is just doing his job. Because again, this is a positive. I have a very high. I used to work for the company. I understand the system. I used to be part of technology strategy, point of sale, supply chain. I know it in and out. So I also know the guy is doing his job. The system flagged him. But here's the key: human to human. Is posturing, is overreach. There are a bunch of stories naturally human could come up with. Is it because I'm this? Is it because I'm that? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing right? But I knew it was none of those stories because I knew the system. But I took charge. I said, you want to see what's inside? Back off. Remove your hand. Right? I'll do it for you. I understand. So I opened first bag, count it. He counted. Second bag, count it. Count. Are you fine? He was like, fine. I didn't even give him eye contact. I let him go. So he walked away. Obviously, he's satisfied. The system said, check this, right? Okay. Now, here's the funny thing. This is where executive functioning comes in. Within me, because I controlled myself, my response was I could control the scenario. I mean, I understand the system. Even when I was finalizing the transaction, when they ask 5-star, I gave them 5-star. Why? Again, it's a system. I wasn't going to put it on the guy, right? Because I understand how systems work, right? It's not about him, it's about training, it's about the programming that measures movements. I just personally, because of my experience, right? And because of how much I know. So this is where knowledge comes in. Because I embody a lot of positive information about Walmart, about the system. I feel I have a post, right? I was able to overlook. I was able to handle. I was able to not to. I was able to control myself, not to shift into negativity. Right? I had enough information, and my interaction with the person was, you know what? I'll take charge. Just don't touch, right? Because that's the one you're crossing your boundary. Because when people are trained to make assumption, okay, so this is where coding and programming, and then you see the human side of this is when you're programming, whoever is writing the code, whatever the because I used to be a software programmer, just so you know. I'm putting my stuff, right? So you have to think about the conclusion. And you have to, if you make assumptions that something is wrong, you are going to make humans wrong. And the person who comes to check it in is already activated that something is wrong. Right? And I'm saying there's nothing wrong. Right? But my own ability to say there's nothing wrong, to take charge of the situation, to understand that the guy is just doing his job, for me to give a ton of benefit of doubt, to just let it slide, right? That's because of my own training, not because of the staff's training. It's because of who I am, what I know, right? About the system that it is functioning inside. I actually, right, I worked at the headquarters, so I know the global solution system. I know the system more than E, but E is inside the system functioning the way he has been trained to function. Now, think about AI, where we are going, where the world is going now, is that people are thinking more of technology, but they're not focusing on the human to human interaction, interface, how we all are wired and programming, and how we can trigger each other if we are not properly trained. So when this finished, right, I'm cool, calm, collected. I give them 5 star because that's just me. I'm not going to say, this is just, I take everything as a lesson. I went into my car, I sat still, and then my systems optimization skills kicked in. I started analyzing, okay, what just happened? What could I have done better? What could they have done better? How could this have been programmed better? What do I need to do? Right? That's my training, right? Just take a moment, take step back, understand what just happened. What do we need to change? What do we need to shift? Who did what, where, when? Right? That's it. Just kicked in. I sat at the car in the car for like 5-10 minutes, breathing, thinking, okay, how could this have been better? How could have this experience been better? And then suddenly I realized, which is why I'm hosting this class as a for people, right? Making it public, free, because it's going to really help shape and help many people. Suddenly I realized, even for me, as trained as I am, I still had this moment that I had to practice restraint and take charge. Okay? The question was then, what of the world, the people out there in the world that don't have the training, the exposure, the knowledge, and experience such engagement? If they don't have the executive functioning skill to shift from fight, flight, freeze to peace, calm, rest, everything is okay, do what you need to do. I know you're doing your job. I'm fine. You're fine. We're going to find out that everything is fine. The system flagged you, but I'm fine. If you cannot shift into positivity in moments like that, okay, that made me go, oopsie, okay, okay. This is something huge that everybody needs to, as we are moving into the world of AI, where humans are being made to interface more with computers and all of those things. There's a side of humanity where people make assumptions. Right now, I'm going to put layer in some interesting things here. If you're programming a system, are you programming it for everyday people, or you are programming it for a certain, because I'm going to be talking about systems right now, right? Systems are designed, okay, and they're designed with people in mind. And every system broker, right? Let me just say algorithm, Facebook, Instagram, right? Every system designer, it's with intentionality. There's nothing random. They know who they want to attract. They won't know who they want to serve. They know how they perceive people. So it got me thinking, who is this system programmed for? Right? And then the person trained, who is it trained to interact with? And how is it trained to engage with them? And how is it trained to treat them? And what assumptions is he carrying within himself that makes him overreach, cross boundary? For kids, we tell kids, give space. We need to tell adults too, back off. I had to take charge and say, don't back off. Because when we are training young kids, we say, give that space. You can engage with your mouth. You can say, ma'am, please, can you do this? Please, you can be more polite. But I had to take charge. So this training is going to be how you take charge of moments, right? Because the world today, as you get more, is pressuring humans more. There's a whole lot more pressure. And so when there is pressure, if you don't retrain yourself to shift into peace, calm, rest, if you don't rewire yourself to take charge of you first, self-regulate, right? Systems attempt to control humans, but humans are not supposed to be controlled. Humans self-regulate. So I'm bringing the science in now. I'm also going to bring the spiritual psychology in, because executive functioning is actually driven by your spirituality. It's your ability for your spirit, your will, your this divine side of you to step in and override what your body may have been by nature, nurture, culture, this external world we're living in. Because if you don't have some form of spirituality that governs you, that gives you joy, peace, love, that nourishes you into a place of wholeness internally, when life, external pressure happens, what would you default to? Right? What would you, wait, what side of you? Right? Because executive function in science may teach it, but I'm teaching it as a spiritual function. It's your divine nature that knows better than your flesh. It's your higher self that can observe, right, interaction, and can take charge and can say, okay, don't mix that cocktail. We are not hungry, we are not upset, or everything is, because you need, if your environment is not offering you that space of everything is okay, calm down, you've got to have the skills for self-regulating yourself, your cocktail, your endocrine system, your muscular system, that's why I teach how everything is designed, so that you know what parts of you are being activated. Literally, you feel inside you stories. This. You've got to quiet those stories and go, no, I'm not listening to you. I'll take charge. And then you have to come up with a better story. That's why for faith, for spirituality, those who are Christians, that this is one of the reasons scriptures come in big time. Meaning that your outlook on life matters. What stories you carry inside you, you're going to use to interpret moment by moment by moment, right? You're going to, so who you are matters moment by moment by moment, because if you don't have positive stories within you that you can shift to, that you can fall back to, that you've built your identity upon. Many people who are insecure, or literally, let's just say what it is, people who come from I want to use, what words should I use? Because we're living in a world where, Jesus said, whatever you do to the least of them, that you do to my brother, right? So for my own Christian faith, we have to treat everybody equally. That's what I believe. Humility, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, right? Peace, right? That's at least that's what I'm taught. And that's what I believe. And that's what I try very well to practice. But you're living in a world that did not get that memo, that doesn't live by those principles. And they are reprogramming and redesigning our functioning, right? By how we are interfacing with technology every day. So I have very, very, very positive stories about who I am, right? Listen, people fly me private jet. They put me on first class services. They put me in the best hotels. I dine with world leaders. I sit on government council. All of that, fantastic. Still in a moment of interacting with people, you have to be respectful, you have to be kind, but it has to do with who you are, your own programming. And in that moment, I realized, oh, not everybody may have been trained to take charge of an environment and to guide people and not to blame, I wasn't going to put it on the person, but because I knew he's living within a bigger construct. A whole team of IT technology people who I know very well, right, are behind the functioning of the point of sale. I knew that. I know a whole bunch of people responsible for training, employee, customer service. I know. So I wasn't going to put it on this guy, but not everybody will be as gracious. Not everybody will be as kind. Not everybody will even be able to handle that moment and still give them 5 star. Why did I give 5 star? It's my default. I love, right? I have history. I love a lot about how they serve humanity. But that's me. But as I sat in the car, I was like, no, not everybody is me. Not everybody has my training. Not everybody has the knowledge I have. Not everybody has this life experience of up and up, wealth, success. So I don't feel like I wouldn't take it on. I wouldn't engage with, right? I will respectfully, I know he's doing his job, but not everybody is that. I knew in that moment that the conversation could have been, is it race? Is it gender? Is it this? I could have shifted that. Because if I wasn't someone that had a place where God has allowed me to enjoy life at a certain level and privilege, it's a privileged life. If I wasn't that person, if it was somebody else in that moment that made a movement in front of the point of sale, and the man came in posturing like you've done something wrong, in that moment, that the person could have just the person's stress response of who am I? This. The person could have shifted into negativity. The person could have left that place feeling broken, could have felt taken advantage, belittled, all kinds of things. That's where humanity is that we have to be careful, very, very careful how we trigger each other. There's a lot of sensitivity because the world now is putting more pressure on humans. And if humans, only people who have executive functioning, who can see the up and up positive side of life, with an emotional freedom, emotional resilience, some form of spirituality to pull yourself out of this world, knowing who you are, to detach from all the systems, you've got to have that skill where the world is going. So I'm going to teach 6 things you can do. And I know my friends, if my friends at Walmart sees this, I know they will do something about it. Because even when I was in the car, I was like, should I send an email? Should I let them know? I was like, no, I'm not part of that system anymore. Even though I'm friendly, in fact, I know the system. I have emails, I have the number, right? I can do that. I said, no, it's not my job to do that. I'm not part of the system. I love the system. I love the people, obviously. I could have told this story differently, but the power that I have is what I'm exercising here as an instructor, as a teacher, as somebody who cares about humanity, how we are wired, how we do life. I'm going to turn it into a case study and then I'm going to teach on it. Okay, so there are 2 types of training here. One is for the person, for you individually, self-control, self-regulation, emotional regulation, your own executive functioning, right? Not to be triggered, how you program yourself to take charge of yourself, because then out of that you can take charge of the external world. Okay. The second side of training is for companies, AI, technology, all these things. As the world is shifting, the second training, which I'm not delivering today is more of still putting humanity in mind, not activating human stress response with the systems flagging, the training of humans on how they interface. Just like we train kids, keep a distance, use your mouth to communicate, don't use your hands or gestures, because that in of itself is where this thing starts spiral, right? Is that you need to give space. Even if you want to see something, you need to give space and say, please, let's see, and then give the person opportunity to regulate themselves. And you have to speak to them all through that process in a very positive way, where you are not making assumptions that they've done something wrong. You're just saying, let's all find out what happened here. It's a different training, right? It's a different training to say, oh, customer, let's find out. The system said this. Well, let's just make sure we make the system happy, right? Right? Where the person can say, well, I'm not saying you did something wrong, but well, let's just find out. Let's find out together. That's a different here than assumption like you did something wrong. Okay, so I'll pull that out and then I'll pull back from that. Now, the first thing I want to share, I'm going into training mode now. The first thing I want to share is that for you to practice and develop, right, you have to, it's a muscle. It's not overnight. It's a muscle you exercise constantly, right? To take charge. It's just constant. It's constant. Okay. The first thing I'm going to talk about individuation and systems orchestration. Okay. I'm going really technical now. Ready? So we have the case study. You know what happened? I shared with you in a very vulnerable, plain way what went on within me, what I had to do. Everything turned out fantastically well. I'm still happy with them, but I know they would know something needs to change. And then for everyday person, how do you take charge? So let me go back to the beginning of your own programming. Everybody realize that you are a system. You carry systems within you. You process information with energy, and they create your emotions, and your emotions drive you, your reactivity, your response, your action, your motion, all of that. However, back to the beginning, everybody is born into a system. The first system you are born into is your family of origin. That's where you have your first foundational functional programming originates from. Okay, DNA, I call nature, nurture, culture. So I'm going more into class, like into teaching now. So this concept of system, we talk about computer system, but the human system, there's a lot of computation, mathematics going on within you, within humans, within us. Listen, the human mind is an agent, the most advanced, right? Excuse me. And you carry a quantum computer that uses energy to process information. The type of energy you use is your frequency of thoughts. I'm not going to go deep into quantum leap human design, but I'm going to give you enough so that when I dive into actions that you have to take to start upgrading your executive functioning skills, okay, you'll be able to understand where I'm coming from. So you carry a quantum computer. You're a spiritual being. You live in a body. That's your biology, cellular self. You have a spiritual self. The spiritual self packs the power of God. In any system, you also have an electrical system. In any electrical system, when we talk about power produces energy in time. Power produces energy in time. Energy is the ability to do work. All of the things you're going to do with behavior, everything you're going to do with behavior is powered by your spiritual self, but it is programmed. Your energy has to be programmed on functionality, how you function, who you are, what you want. All your abilities is a programming of your energetics. The things you do, how you function, how you move, what is done for you to yourself, everything is energetics inside you. So your power has to be trained, but it is trained by thoughts. It's given instruction. Now there's energetic training that God has already right. It's this idea that when Alexa comes into your house, there's pre-programming, but it's also open to your own voice programming. So your system, there are many things being done for you, organs, cells, You're the most complex system ever that God designed. There are many things you don't even think about. When you are sleeping, the 8 hours, the cleanup, the cellular renewal, all of those things, they're being done for you, pre-programmed. The rule book, God designed the rule book, how to take care of you. However, it's like a car. The car is built, but you get to drive yourself. You get to decide where do you want to go. You get to then go where you want to go. So the idea of who you become, okay, who you become, what abilities you develop, right? What relationships you establish, it's all personalized. It's all individual. It's up to you. So everybody's not programmed the same. You're put in a family of origin and your programming begins. Your vibrational frequency, your name, here's your name, vibrate to this name when somebody calls you, because all the language of creation is energetics. Everything vibrates at the frequency, the principle of atoms, protons, neutrons, electrons. When a baby is born, they're vibrating, crying, right? Sensation, right? So, but then programming starts A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, all of those things. But many people may think about just the informational programming, but they may not realize the energetic side. The energetic side actually carries most of the instructions. So when we say high vibration, low vibration, the energetic side is your power bank, right? Where the frequency, I'm going to read some science. I know I'm still going to land on executive function, but I want you to understand this advanced concept. The frequency at which your energetic side, your energy bank, there are many energies with different moving at different frequency for different abilities. Some high, some low, properties, wavelengths, quantum particles. Okay. The energy is what drives what type of information it can carry, it can use, it can produce, it can store. The energetic side drives information, stories, right? And right behavior, and this ability to weave the story of your life, to interpret reality, to tell a story. Every story includes vibrational frequencies, actors. Let me just call the energetics actors. Let me call them, right? Is that in stories, there are actors, there's a script, scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. This is how human programming is. Different actors have different behaviors, different energetic vibrations move at a different frequency, and they're carrying different information, and they can act in different ways. So as you weave the stories of life, as your mind constructs stories, it's pulling actors, act in this way, behave in this way, do this, do that. You're weaving the stories. You're weaving the stories. Your mind is weaving stories. But your spirit produces the frequency, the energetics. The power of your spirit, you will it, your desires activated. That's your belief. More frequency, because energetics is quite expensive. So your mind reuses energetics. That pool of energetics is where the work is that thoughts that are high vibrating will create a more positive outlook, positive stories. And the stories inside you is the one you attract, is what you're going to use to interface with other people, the world. That's your interpretation of your reality. The stories inside you is the interpretation of your reality. But where did those stories come from? Are they high vibrating? Are they giving you what I say, up and up, positive hope, joy? This is where spirituality comes in, right? Is that spirituality is within you, giving you the ability to connect more to your divine identity, divine nature, so that when you download from up and up, I use up and up in my school a lot, right? High vibrating place of joy, wholeness, peace. If you download a lot of information and you keep that within yourself, you're going to attract that. You're going to use that information to interact with the world. But when people disconnect from their spirituality, but they are connected to a world that constantly loads them on low vibration, and they are believing it, chewing it up, manifesting it, producing it, breathing it, speaking it over their reality. This is what takes people to a realm. This is what really separates success from people, right? It is pure language, internal narrative, internal language belief system. If people will just understand this, they will. I say to myself, nobody will teach you to read your Bible. Nobody will teach you to pray. If you understand how spirituality will save your reality, nobody needs to be telling you to pray, and you will be careful what you're praying about. When you understand how you're designed, that the stories inside you, that's the one you're using to weave reality and to invite actors into your life. You are an actor, but also you recruit other actors based on your belief system. If people will understand this. Okay, I've said a lot. So part of this functioning, I said, listen, the world of science hasn't broken into what I'm sharing today. Executive functioning is pure spirituality. It's your divine nature stepping in and taking charge. Right? Because your body, let me introduce some programming concepts. In programming, even after you, right? Okay. If you're not used to my classes, welcome. I weave in spirituality, business, so business, human and human intelligence, emotional intelligence, most advanced, right? Business strategies, right? I just want to make sure people know what they just stepped into. But the spiritual concept I teach is Bible based, okay? And my school, ToyinUmesiri.academy, contains Business Entrepreneurs Academy, and then I have a ton of resources on human intelligence. Yours, others, because in business, in life, you're going to be interacting with people on and on and on. Okay, check that out. So I'm talking about systems orchestration. Within you, you're a system. You need to understand how you function, how you're programmed from family of origin. You're carrying energetic bank. You're carrying stories. Those stories is what you produce as you move through life. That's who you are, and that's what you attract. You are co-creating, and you're weaving stories and stepping into the stories, right? Your body, your spirit is weaving stories internally, and your body is acting it out. This is principle of manifestation. You are part of the stories you're weaving, right? You're also part of existing stories. So now the external world is your internal world. You weave stories inside you, but the world, you're not just a world unto yourself. You interact with the world, the third dimension, and the third dimension is baked with loaded with its own story bank. Everybody you're interacting with carries their own stories that they share, some high vibration, some low. The effect of those stories on our endocrine system, the frequency of the thoughts, does it give you love, joy, peace, patience, kindness? Or when I talk about threat response, this central nervous system programming of, does it make you fight, flight, freeze? And then there's a fourth one I introduce, rule. That's more spiritual for Christians, right? I teach it more to pastors. Okay. All emotional dysregulation can be divided into fight. If you feel you have power to overcome, you feel like you want to give it to them. Or, wow, you've already assessed the situation, you back out. You feel, right? People who feel suppressed, overwhelmed, right? Or people who just freeze. What do I do? You want, right? What's going on here? All of those responses are pre-programming within yourself. And that programming starts with your family of origin, self-expression. Were you able to express yourself? Were you put in a state of fight, flight, freeze? Or were you given charge? Were you able to move yourself? Were you able to exercise the right dominion? Right? Were you able to practice self-control, self-restraint? Were you able to say no? Were you able to say yes? This is where you start being built. Your system is being built. Your system is being built, right? The internal system of information and energetics, right? Your cellular nature, you eat good food, you're growing, right? But the internal side that governs the world of your emotions is your spirituality. Your emotions are created by the stories you're carrying and the energy that is producing it inside you. All emotions are internal. However, as you interact with people, we transfer, right? We transfer emotions and feelings. Feelings are the central nervous system charge of your frequency of thoughts, who you are. Emotions are the chemical reactivity and what is fed to your cells that then activates a story, a conclusion, all of that. So you're using what's inside you as you're moving through life. You're using that, your body uses all of that interpretation to say, what just happened? How do I respond? What should I do? On and on. If something happens for the first time, just like what just happened over the weekend that I was sharing, that's the first time actually, because usually I'm more alert, I'm more, right? This is just early morning, right? So this is the first time that will happen to me. So because there is this is what we call catching the error. In programming, we say catch the error, is that you program and anticipate all scenarios that you can anticipate, and then you put a code and say anything other than what has been pre-programmed, catch the error and do this. Right? Because systems will get stuck or not work if something that has not been programmed happens and you don't know what to do when it happens. You see, that's where with humans and emotions is that if something that has happened in the past before that you know how to handle happens, your body is programmed to handle it. If something new happens that your body is not programmed to handle, who is going to handle it? Because the body can go, can start telling stories, can start weaving stories, and those stories usually spiral into, right? So your ability for your spiritual self to take charge, to step in, to be awake, right? It's like the car, right? To wake up and say, I got this. And to weave a peaceful story and to move your body from being threatened. Because when the body is in stress, pressured, triggered mode, it's naturally, this is nature, it tends to flow into, right? That side of human. But your ability to say no and to interrupt that process and to offer up and up executive functioning, taking yourself to a higher place of reactivity, responding with authority, with control. It's a spiritual function. And I've realized that many people who haven't built this emotional resilience, emotional freedom, emotional, right, power, intelligence, if people don't know what to do, everything then starts going, right? And if the other person is not lifting up the conversation, like everybody needs to be moving up into a place of love. Okay. Right? You say that everybody is moving up, or both people are moving, or one person has to take charge, and then this person may come back up. That's executive function. If the world, just think about the world, everybody's like, well, who's going to take charge? Who's going to calm people down? Who's going to calm you down? You read this on the news, because the human body, the way God designed it, is designed for higher vibrational frequency. That's when the human body is optimized for creativity, for productivity, for love, joy. Those vibrations help us be well. So your ability to work on putting yourself in high vibration mode, this is your biology, this is your chemistry, governs, so that The odd scenarios of trigger here, you can bring yourself back because you spend more time at a high vibration. So if something dips you, you can bring yourself back. Deep, bring yourself back. Deep, but if people live constantly low and things are happening low, then it's just one another load. Oh, do you remember what happened here? Somebody did this, somebody did that, somebody did this. Ooh, ha 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 ha. Ta 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 ta. People type, people complain, people blow up. Da 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 da. That's the day. If people live in that zip code of constantly, I make noise. I say, oh, it's like you can hear the sound, blaming people. Then one more story to tell, one more programming to repeat. People are living in that low vibration state. Executive function is what are you going to do to help yourself be here? And then when things right deeps come, bring yourself back up. Deeps come, that's life, come, but don't live permanently here. Live permanently here. As well, this is where work is. To be high vibrating, motivational, inspirational, to have a positive outlook. This is where your spirituality is. You've got to have hope. You have to have faith. This is faith in action. You have to cultivate inner peace because you are living in the world where even you scroll online, you watch kids, there are trigger words everywhere. Everywhere. These script writers of today, they just want reactivity. They don't care. Because positive reactivity is more expensive. It's more expensive to get people up. The cheap content, the cheap reality is the trigger. And they are trigger words. So when I teach on language and meaning, the interface between words, sound, that resounds, that converts it in, that creates your quantum energy, that builds you up. Listen, the world out there, this script writer, because they just want attention, because they want reactivity, they are training and writing scripts, even for young people. They use words that are trigger words. I'm telling you, particularly for those living in the low vibration world, higher vibration people will laugh at it, right? So one of the things I'll teach you. So did I include that? Before I go on, one of the things you need to start doing is not to take words as literal anymore, more playing with words from a figurative standpoint. Not letting words control you, like you controlling words. When words come that maybe through your training, because a lot of people, particularly English language, right? Depending on how you were trained, there's a lot of literal meaning that words that sound a certain way can immediately trigger people. For you to live above that, you need to be handling words light, right? Try to be fun, try to, right? And because how you handle words is how you're handling life. Literally, this is your programming, right? So your ability to just juggle words and keep it simple and lighten it up, right? Your spirit would also be dancing with those words. Right? You can be telling something serious, but you can lighten yourself. Is that you would raise your vibration when you can do that. If you can play with words and not go because many times people in this zone, they've been knocked down with negative words. And if you cannot lift yourself back and say right? So that's one of the I'm just giving you tips. If you want to reprogram yourself, lighten. Don't load up on negativity, because negative words has loaded people up. If you studied English language, you're already carrying the meaning of words, a bunch of words that doesn't exist in heaven, that men have come up with to explain what is transpiring here. It's already preloaded in people's system. So when those words are triggered, it triggers people and makes people vibrate, and they don't know they are creating a reality using those words and stories and programming themselves. I'm saying if you don't want to be controlled by that system, start taking heavy words that are like, start playing with them. And the way you play with them is more figuratively. One word that means different things. So that within you, you can find peace. Many words that don't exist in heaven, The world out here have come up with it. So play with it. Play with it. Okay. And scripture is one of the ways that can help people. If you find words that are heavy, search for it in scripture, memorize those scripture, you'll be fine. Particularly the way where the world is going right now. Listen, everybody needs to upgrade because the lower vibrational reality, people are trying to recreate a they're trying to take humanity to a low place. I'm telling you. And don't be dragged along on that journey. Rise up. Okay? And so, in order to rise up, you actually have to break out of systems. This is what we call individuation. Most people are in a system. So, family of origin is a system. When we say system, is that they are power brokers allocating energetic, right, identity. Who is this, who is that, who is the favorite, who is this. They are allocating positive vibration to this person is the beautiful one, this one is the nice one, this one is the money, this one this, right? Is that literally one of the power we have is to use words to label things, and humans are treated in specific ways, and the treatments how you were handled in your family of origin is part of your programming. And once that foundation is laid, life will continue, right? Train up a child in the way the child should grow. When the child is old, the child will not depart. Is that adults today will still continue to vibrate at the frequency of their childhood inner child if they do not retrain, if they do not heal, if they do not transform their inner vibration into up. So if as a child you were given high vibration, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, what would you become? Adults that feel, right? Love. You carry love, you give love, you receive love, you experience love. You will see the world. Your outlook on life is this world is loving, this world is kind. I love this world, and the world will love you. Why? Because childhood of origin, you were in love was frequency of love was invested in you, and that's kind of like the currency of reality. And so you can use that currency all through life. But we know that's not all the case for everybody. And this is why this training I'm making in public is that you have to load up. When we say self-love, reparent yourself. Like there's so much internal work for you to function, right? You've got to load up on positive stories about yourself, positive stories about the world, positive stories about other people, positive stories about God. You have to have a boatload of positivity to move through this life in a positive way and to create a positive reality. It's on you. Because any form of neediness is a gap in your system that people take advantage of, generally speaking. I just put it out there. I'm being very, very, I'm teaching something. This is the most advanced thing you can access in the world. Any form of neediness, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, you don't know how to practice any of those things, or people didn't invest it because it's an investment. Energetics is an investment. Motivation is an investment. Inspiration is this is an investment to the spiritual side. You can be eating food, you can be wearing shoes, designer handbags. Fine. That's flesh programming. What do you wear? What did you wear? Makeup, looking good. That's the physical. You're just, it's a physical, right? Men look on the outward, God looks on the heart. Your spiritual programming is where your peace is where your joy is, ought to be driving your identity. But if you attach your identity to this same worldly system, okay, wherever that system goes, they drag people along. So people draw identity from family of origin system. There's also cultural system. Culture will tell you people who live in this code, people who come from this tribe, people who come from this region, people who come from this country, people who come, this is what we believe, this is how we act, this is our brand identity. You are representing your culture, you are representing your country, but they've programmed you. So you're carrying the banner. But where are you carrying it? Inside you. You are a production of your culture. But it is a system. It is a system. What do I mean by it is a system? Who wrote the script? Who wrote the culture? What energetics is programmed there? And when you start dancing and saying, this is how our culture behaves, your dress, your food, right? Who came up with that? There's also something we call ancestral programming. Your culture precedes you, predates you. Before you showed up, culture has been landing, and cultural people have been adjusting. Culture shifts over time. So when you look at that culture and you identify with that culture, you are wearing the script, the energy of that culture. You become the culture ambassador in this world. You are wearing a system of energy and stories, and you are now saying you belong to them. You are the ambassador of that culture. So this culture, my culture is this. That culture, my culture. Food, language is attached to the culture, depending on where you are. If you're US, okay, English, right? Or Spanish, right? Is that they now add on. People in this culture speak this language, eat this food, dress this way, vibrate in this way, believe these stories. They plug it into people, start vibrating. Boom, 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 right? So the sound coming out of people, the music people dance to, the things people do, right? Pre-programming of your culture. You know, my house, we have, okay, there are multicultural families, right? Right? So you can switch from this system to this system to another system, right? That means you can dance around if you're from a multicultural program, right? Okay, this is good, guys. You can join the YouTube. I'm going to close out this one. Okay, let's see. So multicultural families, for example, can shift from this system pre-programming, right? So different systems can be functional and you can make choices. Individuation is when you start seeing yourself outside of the system and you know the power of your ability to choose. You're not in the system, but you can play in the system, because you also have religious systems. Anytime people come together, there are power brokers, there are people who speak the language, who decide what this means. Even Christians, they have their language lexicon. Go and everybody has their right, different religion has their right methodology. What did I just say? There's eschatology, there's myths, legends. But when you plug in, anybody that plugs in to a religion, you will download stuff, vibration stuff, right? Christian religion says love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, self-control, the story of gospel, Jesus, Holy Spirit, God. You will be enlightened, educated of what it means to be a Christian and the behaviors expected of being a Christian, on and on. Yes, this is where God is bringing everybody into himself. Yes? Okay, fine. So individuation is important because if you don't become an individual, then you are entangled and your identity is rooted purely inside the system. The system is you, is in you, and you are the system, and you cannot see yourself outside of the system. People do this as well in workplace. They go into a functioning company system. They go in and they give all of their soul, life, spirit, everything, their will. They can't think for themselves again. If they say wake you up 3 a.m., you jump up, wake up. You cannot say no. You can't, right? Individuation allows you to break out from a system, have your own individual identity, but still relate with that system, but freely. What do I mean by that? So when I say emotional freedom, this is what it looks like. You are you. You are you. You're not codependent. You're individuals. You can make your own thoughts, your own decisions. You have your own programming of who you are, who you want to be. This person has theirs. When you choose to be you, I'm not going to dose you negativity. I'm not going to say something is wrong with you. I'm not going to low vibrate because you are practicing your independence. Yes. I wouldn't think something is wrong with, oh, why are you leaving me? Well, I respect that. Also, when I practice my own thoughts, when I speak the way I, right, practicing my own self-expression in your presence, you are not going to go, oh, what's wrong with you? The key is allowing this person to be the order to come up with their own stories that may not be embedded in this system. Right? Because when this person is observing this person behave in a way that maybe this culture doesn't approve of, or this call is not installed, this behavior is not part of the installation of this person's culture. If this person starts looking down on this person's culture, that's pride and arrogance. That's not right. That is negativity. Positivity is where mutual respect for individual programming, meaning you can take from systems, but you can add on to yourself. You can make new decisions for yourself. That's where your spirituality comes in. Your ability to step in and come up with stories that brings you joy, brings you peace. Listen, and do it in a way where you are observing other people. What brings you joy? What brings you peace? What brings you wholeness is your individuation. You can be quiet. You may like to withdraw to yourself, but you may come up with from a family of origin that wants to be entangled in everybody's business. But your soul, your spirit is not wired to continue the story of your family of origin. But they've always done it this way. This is the individuation style. It's like patterns of behavior has been coming. There are some ancestral, some of immediate family of origin. You were programmed for it. You are repeating the cycle until suddenly, when we say spiritual awakening, you are realizing, no, that's not, it doesn't fit you. It doesn't fit you. Right? The entanglement, the story, not everything fits you. Your ability to individuate is to break out of the system, to update yourself in a way that fits and suits your own spirit and your own soul. You're going to pay a price because the system you're breaking out of, what happens is they can no longer control who you become. Systems attempt to control, they do power broking, they create hierarchy, they institute order, they tell language, they say what is accepted, what's not accepted. Systems create agents of control, and anybody inside that system must, the reward process. If you do this, take your salary. If you do that, if you go to school, A, you do this, you get A. You do that, you get B. You do this, to attempt to control human behavior, emotions, and feelings, system come up with programming. There's computer systems, which is an extrapolation. Humans designed that for us. Yes, computers are great. I have a first degree in mathematics, computer, acceleration of programming of mathematics. But I'm also saying you also have computational stuff going on. I'm not going to cover it today, but your stories are pure mathematical computation on and on. There's a lot of algorithm in humans. Okay. So individuation is that first journey that will allow you to start practicing your executive function. Many people who are in codependent relationship have already outsourced their executive functioning to the central figure that orchestrates power broker. For example, if you're in a church, many people cannot individuate spiritually because, hey, that's the prayer person that can carry prayer. That's the prophet. That's the person. They've outsourced executive functionality to an individual. So they are part of the system the individual is in control of. And so to individuate, if you go counter, this is the test. Whenever you go counter to a system, you will find friction because the energetic power control, you will feel the stretch. It's a painful to break out and to individuate. If it's not done freely, then it's not clean, right? You have to, right? So part of why certain cultures have rites of passages. The culture has baked in process to allow people to individuate. At a certain age, they're like, oh, you become a man now. Oh, you become a woman now. Okay, now we can give you this. Now you can write, you can drive, here's your license, you can vote, you can act outside of your family of origin based on your own thoughts. You don't have to agree, you don't have to vote the way your family is voting. You don't have to eat the food they're eating. You don't have to do what they're doing. You're an individual now, and you are recognized. Here you go and vote. If your family of origin have always voted this way, and for once you're like, no, I'm not voting, that's the individual. If you can act in a different way than you've been programmed to, that means you've become an individual outside of the system. The system is no longer controlling you. You are building and controlling yourself. So there are all systems. There's financial systems. The financial system will tell you, you do this, you get this. You do that, you get this. You do this, you get, right? So financial systems are designed as well to behave a certain way. The flow of money is controlled by financial systems, central bank, right? This bank send this bank, then this bank. Study the flow of money. I have a book I recommend to my students, Money Mastery, right? Is this idea that money is created and printed and flows in certain way and flows with emotion. It's like a current, energetics. You typically low vibration to high vibration. That's why wealth is all about emotions and feelings, right? That's why I included all these classes in the school, Wealth Creation, right? The Success Academy. I've called it different names, but when it comes to the Quantum Leap Human Design plus Business School, it's because emotion is a key part of wealth creation. How you see yourself, your stories that you pack, how you feel about life, what you think about life, because that's what you're going to attract. You are co-creating your own reality with your own inner stories and beliefs. So individuation would allow you to start functioning as an individual where you can think your own thoughts and you can delete other people's thoughts. You don't have to agree with people. You don't have to do what they want you to do. You don't have to be nice for them. You don't have to do anything for them. That's people, codependency in the system makes people please because your executive functioning, you outsourced it. I think people need to understand this. Many people are not able to step into executive functioning because they're part of a system where they are not the executive. They're not the power broker. Somebody else that allocates power is energetically distributing it. And so if people are codependent on the system, you have to play along with the rules of the system. And so people cannot exercise full-on executive function because executive function is detachment, self-control, self-mastery, self-regulation, self-love, self-identity, then using all of that information to then engage with people, with systems, meaning you're your own representative. You're acting within yourself. And when you step into that role, guess what will happen? You will no longer be blaming. When you have self-control, when you've done all of the inner work, the way you engage with life is the full power is within you to act in accordance with your will. You are acting in accordance to your will. You are letting other people act in accordance with their will. You're not controlling them, so you cannot blame them. Right? You're not controlling them, so you cannot blame them. When all is said and done, and you regroup, you're going to say, what could I have done better? You're going to take personal responsibility because you acted in accordance to your own will, not to the will of pre-programmed. You didn't do anything for other people. You're going to regroup. This is why you step back and say, okay, what could you step into this? This is the elevated spiritual side, where you then look at the scene and the story and what happened from an higher place and then say, okay, this is what happened. I did this. You can replay the story, observe it, and then see how you can make it better, because that's part of self-programming. Right? It happened for the first time, you got control, and then now you regroup. Now you say, okay, this is what What information are we extracting from this experience? And then how do you want to use that information? For example, I'm using that information and I'm teaching. That's my executive function is, okay, this is something that I'm going to extract positivity from. And then I'm going to teach my students, I'm going to teach the world, because this is the functioning. This will help many people gather themselves better, work on themselves better, choose their thoughts better, do all the inner work better, and quit demanding that the system function for them. The system functions for the collective. The system functions for the collective, right? And it functions on behalf of the system's orchestrator. Facebook algorithm functions for the collective, but it is working for the orchestrator. You are a user of a system. You are in the system, but do you own the system? Do you control the system? Can you orchestrate the system? No. So once you understand how system functions, you're like, leave the system, only participate in systems that you agree with. Can two work together except they agree? This is your power of choice. Go in, come out. Go in, come out. Engage with systems, financial institutions. That's why in the school we have money stories. You get to a place where is the system controlling you, or you understand the system enough to work within it. That's knowledge. That's the power of knowledge. Is that the knowledge you have of the system and the moving parts and who is doing what and how people get rewarded, all of those things. That knowledge bank is your superpower. The more you know about yourself, the more you know about the world, the more flexibility you will have, the more charge, the more executive functioning skills you can unpack. So executive functioning skill is governed by knowledge, your spirituality, who you are. You don't know much, because this is where in the programming code for humans, the human mind is constantly looking for answers. But if it doesn't find it inside you, it will look outside you. If you don't give yourself, if you don't preload, if you don't pre-read, if you don't pre-train, if you don't read books on things, if you don't study to show yourself approved, if you don't train yourself with knowledge, rich knowledge, not poor, not low vibrating, right? Free. When people go online and they are reading free stuff, how does the free stuff make you vibrate? Oh, the world is this. Oh, the world is that. Oh, nothing. It's by design. Free stuff is cheap, it spreads fast, it makes other people money. The executive functioning skills takes more work. You've got to read. You have to actually invest into the type of knowledge that would help you become higher functioning. And people need to be told. You see, what is common will create common reality, common experiences. You have to train yourself up. And that's where it's expensive to get into that space where you have a lot of knowledge within you that will allow you to navigate the world, where you have contacts, you have people, where you can call, right? Whenever you want to do things, you've built your network, you've built your knowledge bank, because with it, you're going to navigate the world. But if you have this network, you can't navigate the world outside of you. The only people you know and the only knowledge you know is all you can move. That's the size of your world. That's the size of the world you are living in. When you want expansion, expansiveness, you have to invest. You have to do things people don't do, right? That is not common. You have to do things that are expensive to do. It's expensive to meet certain people. It's expensive to connect at a certain level. It's expensive to access certain knowledge bank. It is expensive to function in a higher zone where you are experiencing love, joy, peace. It is expensive. It's expensive to have friends. that will give you that are also doing this work. You see, if you find yourself in the midst of people that are not positive, but they have negative thoughts towards you, they're flooding your system with love. They will share, you're part of their system. Every relationship, you're part of their system. And systems merge energy and they want to centralize it. Human systems, they function in incredible ways. They're constantly trying to merge energy. And the power broker that creates hierarchy, all the power goes up to them. And then they will now say, oh, who do I give this title to? Here's your title. Who do I give this title to? Here's it. And so if you are codependent on that system, good luck with that. And there's a spiritual dimension to this, just so you know. But I'm sharing, even in the physical third dimension world, you have to build your own inner reality. You have to individuate, you have to build your own system. You have to expand your own reach. You have to, when they say invest in you, you have to build yourself up so that you can then function. The stories inside you is you building yourself up. But if you stop where you started, that's where you are. So self-programming is you feeding yourself the most positive stories ever and not outsourcing that responsibility to anybody else. Because that's part of the system. Is that systems will say outsource your power. We would centralize power. And if you need power, we'll give you what you need. You need us to pray for you, we'll pray for you. You need us to do what for you, we'll do it for you. What you ought to be able to do for yourself, be for yourself. You don't have to do it for yourself. The promise of system is centralized power. And then that centralized power is now allocated to the favorites. And it's everywhere. Churches have this, workplace, right? Government, family of origin, marriage, yes, financial, any system. Remember, systems are human designed, but God has his own system. And that's where spirituality is. Okay, so let me share with you 6 practical things to start helping yourself function at a higher level. Number 1, they may sound simple, but this is a secret. Find peace and quiet. Practice quietness. Practice being by yourself. Many people are entangled in other people's world, so they are not building their own. You're here, you're there, you're here, you're here. You're always there for everybody. So you are giving your time, energy away. What are you searching for? What, like, will those people build you? Like, people need to sit back. As long as you're giving your time, energy, resources all away, you cannot practice executive functioning, because the people you're giving your energy to own your body, meaning they are funneling you information. They have identity inside you. They have you've given them priority. You're giving them attention. The people you give attention to, guess what? You're giving part of yourself to. The people you think is this, is that, you've told your body, don't worry about your own spirit. Prioritize these people. They are the superstars. They are the right. And so the human body gets to do not much because it's just watching the movie. So the people are watching other people's production. They're not producing their own reality. And you're living in that world. It's so easy. How many hours do you use to watch other people, what other people are doing, who other people are? So many people have trained their body to know so much about external reality. But your own desires, your own will, who you want to be, how you want to move through life, how many hours do you allocate to that? Guys, you need to reverse that. And the best way to reverse it is quietness. Quietness allows you to hear your own voice. Now, If you are new to quietness, you first, it's like a dam that has been closed for years. If you open it, the first flood, the first few things that will come out, they are not fresh. They are just right. So many people, this is where emotional processing cleanup, the tools in my school comes in. Is that if this is your first step into quiet practices, the thoughts that's been waiting for your attention for years, because you have an inbox, thoughts inbox, other people's thoughts, the people you're in relationship with, everybody's energetically moving messages all around. Yes. Yes. So many people are carrying a backlog, right? A lot of thoughts and words in their system, physical filing system. Yes, your body. And so the first time you practice quietness, your mind will say, I've been telling you to be quiet. I've been trying to talk to you. Here's your inbox. Full. So it might take time. That's why I have those workbooks. It might take time for people to sort through what's good, what's not, what's keep thoughts, right? Through their thoughts. But quietness allows you to process inner thoughts, not just yours, the thoughts people have energetically loaded into you. Their will, their way, they've programmed your body. Whenever you want to start practicing executive functioning, you've got to clean up, you've got to heal. When you say emotional healing, the negativity, you've got to start moving those out of you. So, finding inner peace and quiet, several things also happen. You can hear your own thoughts. You can also hear the thoughts of God. Divine. God doesn't speak over all this stuff people are doing, right? When you bring yourself to a place of quiet, God can speak to you, encourage you, give you your own context. So, for example, beyond this world, who are you? What's your assignment here on earth? What's your service to mankind? Who are you supposed to be? Who are you supposed to serve? Where are you supposed to go? That's practice of self-right regulation and executive functioning, where the vision for your reality is coming from your divine nature and then into your physical nature. Because if the vision, right, that would help your body march towards a destination, if it's coming from external systems, then that's the previous programming of go get a job. Somebody else will cast a vision, and then you put yourself to use. And nothing wrong with that. The key though is I always recommend, even when you're working for someone else, still be your own executive. That way you can engage with that workplace authoritatively. That's when you can negotiate on your behalf. That's when you can get the best pay. That's when you can get the best opportunities. That's when you can get promoted. Is when you are your own agent and you're not making assumption that somebody else will go and negotiate for you. Which system is that? Whenever anybody sits and say, my boss will negotiate for me, my boss would promote me. No, you are just not understanding the system. You are your own agent. If you want promotion, understand the system. Who are the power brokers? What assignments? How does this system work? What assignment must you take that will give you visibility? That when you are visible, you can now say right? Because promotion is a negotiation. And stories must back you. You must have receipts of what you can accomplish, your skills that is public, that is visible to you. Have to take on a visible assignment that everybody sees. That's a major assignment. Oh, this person pulled it off. So that the time you say I want a promotion, nobody will shut you down. You have to understand the system. But many people who don't understand the system, they'll be complaining. The boss didn't say, do you know what? Your boss is not even the one that promotes you. He can throw your name into the hat. Everybody throw, who do you, right? Who do you want promoted to? Who do you think is promoted? And then peers will say, who do we know the best? Whose job is the most important? Which there's a lot of criteria, but you have to understand the system in which you want to function positively in, and in which you want to be, right, positively rewarded. The system what's investing in. And you also need to know when the pot is dry. They're no longer, just move on to another system. Don't get stuck. I always say don't get stuck at the gas station. When you don't understand system, people will get stuck And then they would spiral and go, oh, this person did. Go and find another job. Go to another company that will value you, that will give you what you're looking for. Don't get stuck at a gas station complaining the gas is not there. Move, go and find another gas station. If this one is not serving you gas, they didn't fix their pump, that's fine. Gas stations, understand the world you're living in. Don't be stuck on one zone complaining about people. No, move on. That's your executive functioning skill, is your ability to move on positively from a place to heal yourself, to bring yourself to a place of peace, to understand the system enough that you cannot change. You also need to understand the system you can influence and the ones you cannot influence. Yes, if you go into a church and you cannot influence it, and the system is not behaving in a way that will give you a just executive function, move into a place of peace. Executive function is always looking for peace and calm and joy. Why? Because you know it exists. It may not exist here, but it does exist. Jesus was such, right? Was hungry. He wanted food. He saw a tree. The tree looked a certain way. Green. He went close. The tree did not. He practiced executive function. That's okay. My bad. Vroom, vroom, vroom. See ya, bye-bye. It shouldn't exist. He moved on. Executive function allows you to move on without carrying negative stories with you. Your ability to process scenario and say, okay, it's okay. It's okay. I'll figure out what to do. When I'm done figuring out what I want to do, I'll take decisive action and I will move. And I'll take a very solid action in my own favor. Right? Because when the system stops favoring you, I'm weaving a lot of things into this one. When a system doesn't favor you, what do you do? And you're not the power broker. What do you do? Go and find a system that will favor you or create your own system. So finding peace is the quest for executive functioning, because you are living in a world that the pre-programming, not everybody is doing the work to be as positive, to engage with people with love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. Not everybody is doing the inner work on themselves to control themselves. Not everybody is carrying peace within and have it to give. Not everybody is handling, right? Many people can trigger. You understand? These things are real. Well, you cannot control other people. The one place you can put all your time in, yourself. And one of the places is quiet. Just go. Detach from systems, the world. Spend time with you. Find out who you are. Right? Because that will show up in moments where you face pressure. Do you move forward? Do you move backward? When you need to make decisions, the quality of decisions is governed by people, right? The best decisions are not hasty decisions. But many people don't know how to practice quietness, because this is why it's a skill. It's a skill to bring your body back. When things are going, to be able to say, okay, calm down. This is self-control, to get your body to sit still and to be at peace, because thoughts will be flying. Right? Your ability to command peace within yourself, because many people are expecting other people to give them that inner peace. And it's part of what drives attachment, neediness, dependency. People who expect this person, pastor, will bring peace. This person will bring peace. That person will bring peace. That person will bring joy. Right? It makes humans attach and expect systems to do for them, because they've outsourced that responsibility from themselves to something else. Well, what happens is, when you were born, family systems was the attachment. What happens is that attachment was you also have been healed, right? It's the umbilical cord that ought to have been snipped off, then healing balm, and then the child is allowed to move on and grow fully, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, physically. Many people can do intellectual and physical, but the spiritual and emotional side is where right, executive functioning falls in. Executive functioning falls into your emotional power, your spiritual growth, and the exercise of your will over yourself to govern yourself, and then engage with the world more out of your will, not being suppressed, but being expressed in a positive way, the most positive way. Because people who are suppressed, when they are triggered, guess what happened? Boom, right? Pour everything out, right? Things that ought to have been processed within, everything comes out. Now the world has to filter and do all of that cleanup. Yes, a bunch of energy and stuff that people throw. It's in the energetic space. So practice peace, practice quietness, breath work, because you're going to be training your physical body to relax. Everything's fine, cool, calm, collected, enjoy the world, stroll. Your ability to just relax, but not just physical relaxation. Start processing thoughts and bringing thoughts to a place of peace, processing your thoughts, forgiving, loving. The more you do this, it will allow your spirit to take over and clean up your body. It's self-care. When your spirit can speak, can receive good words, and then speak over your body, speak over your body, speak over your body, calm yourself down. Not waiting for somebody else to speak. Your voice will program your body. Your voice needs to program your body. Okay? The second thing, practical now. Learn how to pace yourself. Don't be running too fast. Many people think haste and speed and all of those things is quality. No, it's not quality. The energy that drives hastiness can be aggression. Now, this is different from flow state. When you enter a flow state, your power moves in and through you into the world with peace and joy, and you are moving in an accelerated way. You are achieving, you've created momentum, and things are working for you, in you, through you, to the world, and it's flowing, and there's no stress in flow states. The difference is people who are hasty, they stress their systems, they subject their body. It's like riding a horse and whipping the horse. Run faster, run faster, run faster. Versus if the horse is just like full expression of its divine nature, is that it's an expansive, the breath it brings joy, creativity. It's like the heart is expanded, you're giving, you're flowing, you're receiving, you're flowing, right? This expansiveness is that your energy is, your aura is reaching, you are open to receiving, you are giving. That's a flow state. The other state is not flow. It's I got to do this. I have to be here. You don't have to do anything. You do not have to do anything. You choose what you want to do. That's executive functioning. The moment you snap into I got to do, bring yourself back. You don't have to do nothing. Who is controlling you? Who is whispering in your ears that you have to do anything? Which system is that? That's what I'm saying. You don't have to do anything. You choose your job, choose your wife, choose your husband, choose your friends, choose your co-workers. If it's not, choose your church. If it doesn't look like it, choose to move on. You don't have to be attached. You don't have to be attached. You don't have to be attached to doing things, doing this, feeling pressured. Well, because whenever you feel pressure, there's a spiritual implication. You are not in charge of your reality. Somebody else, something else is in charge. Because there's another system, Christian circle, right? You understand? There's another system. We say the other kingdom. There's a system of our God, right? God's kingdom that will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Thy kingdom come, that will be done. The system of God works a certain way. love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, self-control. Do you know that you have to train yourself so much? Try being loving, try being kind. Try it. It takes a lot of thought process. It's not default. The default is to be kind, to be generous, to be loving, to be peaceful. To choose, it's a choice. You choose it, you practice it, you program yourself, you make it, bring your body under your. It is, listen, that is ultimate executive functioning. It is incredible work. Because the world is programming everybody to be fighting, flying, anger, this, to bring yourself to even just practice peace with people, with yourself, with other people, within yourself. Oh Lord. See all the stories that will say, no, this person did this, that person did that. No, this person is this. The government is the boatload of stories that is overwhelmingly incredible. Well, your job is practice calm, process those thoughts, counter it with positive stories. That's the work. Because the day you're going to need in that moment, and it is case by case, people by people, thing by thing, the day you're going to need to just snap, bring yourself, right? The day you're going to, and in relationship, it's everywhere. Marriage is, you need it too. This practice in marriage. Because in codependency, everybody, you treat, this person triggers this person triggers this person does something, you trigger this person, right? Well, if one person can heal, the other person can heal. Both sides will be practicing emotion, right? Emotional freedom. There will be real love, mutual love, respect, and then for people to rise into that place is executive functioning, meaning you are regulating yourself, you're controlling yourself. You're not attempting to control this person. And if this person is not doing whatever you feel they should do, you still respect enough to say, okay, fine. You do you. I'll find a way to still calm myself. It's not your that's where co-regulation also comes in. Okay. But many people, just example in relationships, constantly believe the other person is responsible for their peace, for their calm, co-regulation, understanding who that person is as an individual, not questioning them negatively, not labeling them negatively, giving the same to each other. This is where people can start cultivating a higher positive relationship is mutual love and respect. But it also comes out of deep understanding, knowledge, right? You have to know the person, know their triggers, we have to know it. It's a lot of deep work. So executive function is based on knowledge. The knowledge you have about yourself and other people is what you're going to use to interpret reality. The more you know about each other, the more you observe, you can start anticipating and preparing to help navigate, create a more wholesome space. So pace yourself. Don't move too fast, because your decision making, the best decisions you make will be made when you are calm, right? And then the moments when you're triggered, if you've practiced a lot of quietness, you can speak to yourself quickly, you can take charge. It's very split second kind of programming, but you have to be able to switch yourself over to it's okay, calm down, laugh. It's not that, right? You have to be self-talk, but it is your spirit talking to your body. That's self-talk. Number three, or your spirit can pre-program your body, right? Number three, load up on positivity. You know, the food you eat, physical food, depends on your, right? Is that this, you have to, you need to be able to pull, you need a bag of good thoughts, good words, a bunch of it. Rich, so that your mind can be picking from it and using it. You have to study, you have read your Bible, start, right? Load up on scriptures, load up on good books, good movies, load up. Because whether you are sleeping or awake, your mind will be pulling from the stories you loaded yourself up with. Who is responsible for the stories inside you? what you believe. They've made you believe. Is it that you continue to believe what you've always believed, or if there's something better to believe in, why wouldn't you choose to study? But you have to study, right? For you to practice executive functioning, you have to be a knowledge broker. You cannot function on ignorance. Ignorance is poor information, low vibration, bunch of lies. You don't really know how this system works. People who are ignorant, meaning they don't have a lot of information about the world, about themselves, they don't know what's up. They're just moving into this world, guessing their way. They can't practice this. Because you actually, it's knowledge. This is built on positive knowledge that works, wisdom, knowing how the system works, and you knowing how to work the system to your favor. That's when you can rule. That's when you can lead. That's when you can get things done. You can navigate the world and still get to your destination and get what you want. But when people get stuck, why do you get stuck? It's because you don't have enough knowledge, you don't have enough network, you don't have enough people. Even networking, do you know how to connect to people who have the knowledge you need? Everything you need is in this world. Everything you want is in this world. Every reality you desire is here. But do you have the knowledge within you to navigate the world outside you in a way where you can you can attract, receive what you want? That's knowledge. But people who don't have the knowledge on how the world works and how to connect with people and how to ask questions and how to communicate and how to negotiate, they will sit down and complain that everything is not working. Why is it not working? You are not figuring out how it works. It works for some people because they read, they study, they learn, they ask questions. They're moving through this world, not making assumptions. They are reading, they're studying, they're paying attention to the right things. When people don't study, they cannot function at the highest levels of their potential. Your system needs information to navigate the world. You have to train your system how the world exists, how it functions, and how you want it to function for you. You have to do that work. So you have to load up knowledge, how things work, how humans are. You have to, so that you can use it to get what you want. Use knowledge to get what you want. That's the secret of life. Because everything you want is somewhere. Who, what, where, when, how. That's what you're supposed to be looking for in life. If you want something, who has it? When are you going to get it? How do you get it? What time? Where? Place? Where do you need to be to go get it? If they tell you there's a river flowing with water, but you don't have water. If you sit down and say there's no water, there is water in the world. There is water, but you have to learn how to go and find water. Ask people, where is water? How do you get water? What type of water it is? This is the journey of navigating life with knowledge. But if you sit down and say there's no water, that's on you. Because everybody else is drinking water. The people who know where water is and how to collect water, they can get water. And let me bring spirituality. Jesus at the wedding, wine finished, but they know who can produce wine. And they connected. They even connected with the mom of who knows. You see, they didn't go directly to Jesus. Or the mom heard them. She heard them talking. The power broker, the connector. She connected them to the divine. Connected them to Jesus. And Jesus was like, turn water to wine. So even if this whole world, you don't know what's up, at least connect to the divine. That's executive functioning. Ultimate power of God. Download some. I always tell myself, listen, frequent flyer man. You can talk to God anytime. If you're a Christian, you need to know that. Use your travel mileage. Use it all. What are you saving it up for? Use it all. 247. Take time out. Take a day. Quiet yourself. Detach from this world. Go quiet and then go praying. Executive functioning. Okay, number 4. If you have any questions, by the way, feel free to drop it. I'm going to be, top of the hour should be done. Build a secure identity. This is important. If people build identity on title, right? The physical world gives you title, gives you position, gives you this, and then you say, oh, that's it. And you attach your body, meaning you make that title mean everything to you. Don't do that to yourself. You are bigger than any title. Spiritual. This is why I said executive function is on the spiritual side. When you connect to the divine, you can start seeing life from a higher perspective. Position is fantastic. Listen, I've got a bunch of those. Title is, listen, I love you. But I can change titles. I can function in different offices, which I do, by the way. And I can gather more. And I can pull out, I can change. You are free, right? You are free. Executive functioning allows you to move and not get attacked. Some people, you give them a position and a pay, and they're stuck. And when they're stuck, they can't promote them anymore. Do you know that? That's one of the rules. I'll just give this tip to those in corporate. One of the rules is, if the job you're doing, only you can do it. you continue doing it. Nobody will, because if they cannot hire somebody to do your job, and that job is important to the company, you are there. Many people don't know this higher perspective. So one of the rules, if you want to be going up and up, is make sure you can train somebody else to take your job, because that will free you to move to higher levels. Do the job you're doing really, really fantastically well. However, give it away. Some people are so attached to, this is it. No. Do a fantastic job and then train somebody or give it away. There's always bigger. You see, that's information knowledge. There's always bigger opportunities. Many people, God will tell them, leave this job, go and start a business. Executive functioning is you knowing you'll be fine. It is you knowing and seeing what God is telling about you and knowing that this thing will end up fantastic, better than today. It is your spiritual self that can help you override. Oh, what is gonna happen? Oh, my this, my that. That is reality, nature, system of this world. When God wants to take you out of that, you have to detach. You will see it. Yes. Right? You can assess it and say, yes, I know I'm taking a risk. Executive function will allow you to take a risk and move into a bigger future and detach. Even when the entire story is saying, woo, you've got to have a better story that says the future is greater than today. But where is that story going to come from? Where is that story going to come from? And then executive function will help you take calculated risk. You will subject yourself to training. It won't just be, oh, I'm just going. No. Wise decision. Go and learn. Go and study. If you're going to be successful, you will go with back to knowledge. Many people can take risk and not discipline in reading, in networking, in asking questions, and they will navigate and say, oh, they can't find their way. Listen, you need to find your way with knowledge. And where is the knowledge? You invest in it. The one that will show you the road. So if your identity is connected to your job, title, this, people start behaving funky. I'm telling you. Most people who have identity stuff wrapped up in, this is who I am, this is who I am. Who you are is a child of God. Who you are is divine. And the divine owns the world. Don't be trapped in a small. If if you can see the big vastness of God's world, why would you get stuck on one title, in one place? Why? Right? So executive function allows you to see a bigger world and to play in a bigger world and to understand a bigger world and to help you also build the inside you to be bigger, to build the capacity to receive the world. So don't tie yourself to small this idea. No, play big. You can be well decorated with all kinds of titles. This, that. TV host. That's why if you go to my profile, TV host, this, that. I'm like, I'm playing all over. Yes, this, that. I'm playing. I'm having. This is your world. Enjoy it. One moment I'm here, the next moment I'm coaching, the next moment I'm council, yes, government, oh, there's ambassador, oh, yes, this. It's your world. Don't make it small, make it big. Play in a big, vast world because it's based on who you are, what you believe. And do you are here, you carry the power of God, you carry the presence of God, you carry God, the world, God that created this whole world, this whole world. Be like function like you know that God has got you. Function like that. And then engage with other humans with love as well. It's so a lot. And none of these things I'm saying is easy. If it were easy, everybody would be doing it. It's the work, though. It's the important work that makes the world a better place. Number 5, understand and rewire your insecurities, your triggers. Listen, Bible says whoever says he has no sin. Listen, we are humans. Understand your humanity and then take responsibility. Don't put it on somebody else. What are your insecurities? Let me put it this way. What do people do that shift you, that rattle you? What don't you like? And what are your tendencies? When you get shifted, what do you tend to do? Me, I tend to say, please stop, back off. I'm like, I'm kind of like, so let me just share. Because when you've chosen to be a certain type of person, easy breezy, like just calm, right? You're living in a world that is like, there's so much noisemaker. People are like running faster, competitive. I don't play in that lane. I don't fancy it at all. But there are a lot of aggression. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of boo, right? So if you are running a different system on a different system, but people are like, I'm like, so you have to know how to let them run. You see, keep going. Learn how to move out of people's way so that they can keep going at the pace. Good, wish them luck. And if people, life, you happen to encounter incredible people. This is the picture I would paint. In African markets, I have a lot of stories, right? Sometimes people are carrying, maybe let's just say oranges. A lot of it. And they're not looking, or you are not looking, whichever one. And you bump. You bump each other. Woo! The orange scatters. The orange scatters. Or even if it were liquid, it spilled on you, it spilled on them. It made a mess. There are relationship messes. You're not looking, they're not looking. Boo! Well, guess what? What do you do? What do you do? Executive function will make you go, what, my bad. I'm so sorry. You take your own responsibility for what you did. I was in the wrong spot, the wrong time, moving, right? You let them also take responsibility if they want. If they don't, that's okay. They have their own cleanup to do. You have your own cleanup. Kindness will make you help them clean up, put their stuff back. If you can pay for it, right? You try to make amends, clean yourself, and move on. Yes? But a lot of times, people get stuck 20 years later, they're still talking about the orange that spilled, the milk that spilled. Let me use milk. American stories, milk. I use orange, right? This orange. What? People then spiral and spiral. So executive function always helps you look at how do you come out of this hole? How do you help other people come out of it whole? The humanity of it. Yes, it happened. Yes, take responsibility. But clean up. Let's clean up. This is the solution orientation of executive functioning. Not looking just at the problem, but can you bring it to resolution? How quickly can you calm? How quickly can you bring this to resolution for you, for them, so that everybody can go their separate ways? So, what then happens is that personally, for me, there's some resolution that requires complete detachment. That even eventually, it might be like, I never knew you. There's some resolutions that are that intricate, particularly when it is character based, behavioral based, when people show you a form of character that it's just out of this world. That's where in the workplace you fire people. Right? At some point, you have to look at a character and behavior and say, can you work with this? Can you train this? Can you help this? But if it is so off, you're like, we got to part. What will it take for you to move on? And I move on. This can be physical in a job, it can be spiritual, it can be energetic. When I talk about soul ties, where you hired somebody, you thought the person was this, the person showed you another character. Be quick to take executive action and clean up the mess as called. Some people will drag it on, right? If I go, what would they say? If I stay, what would they say? Well, if they stay, the mess grows bigger. Take action immediately. Move on. When God tells you this decisiveness, right? You take action immediately. Some people will be clocking. God told them something to do. 2 years, they're still there. They've not done it. Why? They're calculating. What are you calculating? The way out is immediate, is decisive, is immediate. Quickly. If you want to fire, as quickly. There's no right. Executive function will let you take action that would immediate action that will protect the future. Immediate action that will protect the future. That's the personality you have to develop. Immediate action. If things are spiraling, you have to say enough. Something needs to be done, and it needs to be done now. Well, many people drag. Don't drag. Every day, every second you are dragging, you are just opening more doors. Right? There's spiritual executive action. There's some people just enough. I've seen enough. I've seen enough. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Bad judge of character. That's okay. That's okay. That's on me. Take person. But I've seen enough to say. Right? Bye. God will tell people a lot of information, but your spiritual side has to take your body, right? When we remember Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Executive action is when God says, go, you don't ask questions. Just carry your things and go. The people who look back, what were they? That's the past, attachment to the past. What's there when the future is calling? So understand your insecurities, understand you so much so that you are not blaming other people for your triggers. The only thing they can do is to press your button. What comes out of you was inside you. Your cocktail of emotions, your energetics, your beliefs, who you are. People can just press the button and say, ding dong, who's there? So before they call, clean your house. Before the ding dong, make sure you keep your internal house in order. Constantly though. Because as you're doing life, the system is updating. Okay, finally, delete negative thoughts from the outside, and then also any past internalized reality of negativity, delete. This deletion, I'm using the language of computing, but boy, this is the most powerful thing you can ever learn how to do in this world. It's spiritual power, pure form. Your ability to resist nonsense, to denounce. When Bible says resist the enemy, yes, wherever thoughts that are not for you wants to program you, listen, delete. What do you use to delete? Counter with truth. The truth of who you are, you have to speak. When voices are speaking, you speak, you counter your own. This is the ultimate functioning of your spirit, is to watch over the affairs of your soul energetically, and you do that with reprogramming, reshaping, and it's constant. Every day, exercise, prayer, movement, right? It's every day. As long as you're living in this world, thoughts are flying, even more so now today with social media. Thoughts are everywhere. What's energetic is carrying it. Don't be swallowing, don't be ingesting, don't internalize all of those things. This is the principle of externalization, letting go, releasing, deleting, not for me, right? And this is constant. It's your own spiritual practice. Everybody can say whatever they want to say, they can think whatever they want to think, they can believe whatever they want to believe. But the ultimate executive functioning is when you choose not to participate in what other people believe, but then to believe what you want to believe, and to have your own stories ready to go, and your stories countering stories you don't want to be an actor in. This is the power place to be. Okay, so I'll wrap up. Thank you so much for joining. I started with a case study of me stepping into a scenario which I actually have incredible knowledge on, but still, that scenario still stayed with me enough that I said, I need to do something about it. Because if it were somebody else experiencing that, without the training, without the skill, without the self-programming, what would have happened? And then as the world is moving into and reshaping and redesigning, I pray that we are designing a world that constantly puts human in mind, in human interaction. Because in the moment, people are being reprogrammed, triggered, reactivity. Listen, if you cannot function at a higher level, and which is the training, I'm saying everybody must, we need it today more than ever before. Detach from systems that are going down, systems that will not exist anymore, systems that are negative, systems that are unhealthy, systems that don't carry peace. People that if you hang out with them. Okay, let me wrap it up. Thank you so much. Take care. God bless.